Emotional thing, that the more I get into it, the harder it is to be dispassionate and just sort of like rely on everything I played for. Yes?
I know that my style of playing is usually a lot in Lydian. Is that an influence from you? Is that what you like to do?
I would say, after listening to Steve play for decades, that he's used every scale there is. Or just about any guitar player I've ever heard. From his orchestral stuff to his power trio stuff, with David Lee Roth. I mean, man, he's just played everything. I've seen him try to work a flat 9 into a Lydian scale and pull it off. So I think he's thinking chromatic all the time, which is really cool. But this song, the one thing I was noticing about it this morning when I was thinking about playing it is that it comes off as sounding minor pentatonic, but it's obviously kind of minor and Dorian at different times. But actually the trick is that it's a 6-note scale for the singer, for the guy playing the melody. And this is what creates a mood that's different from, let's say, that little warm-up thing where I just kind of played everything. I played every note in the scale and I threw in blues notes and feedback and all that kind of stuff. But very often with songs, as I talked about yesterday, it's all about elimination most of the time. Like, it's not a demonstration for Joe to impress an audience. It's this next song is just this song. It's just this one idea. And so I've removed a note from your diatonic scale to sort of create a feeling. And then I use other notes at other times to sort of open the thing up. And the other thing that what I said before that might feel difficult to me, it might be because there's a lot of pushing and bending all the time. And to tie it in with your question, the legato is kind of easier because you have to develop a lighter, you're not grabbing the strings, you're not grabbing the neck, you're just sort of doing this, which is a lot different than this, you know what I mean, just from an anatomical point of view. So that might be why I get tired out when I'm playing the song, and maybe why at the end the song ends with no difficult fingering, actually. I think I'm just realizing that right now. But maybe that's why I came up with that part, because my hand was tired. Okay. So let me see if I get the intro to this song as well was done on the fly as Stu and Jeff and I were rehearsing the beginning of the song, and we wound up using it as the intro. It's muted on the record because it was so noisy because of my wah-wah pedal, and you're going to hear it. There's no way I can get around it. But it just felt like the right thing to do. So here we go. No, that's not it. Hold on. Let me bring this volume up. I know I'm playing with the volume here. Sorry about that. I'm going to bring it up to that level. All right, that should be the right level we want. Here we go. There it is. By then, I guess my fingers are getting tired for, you know, when all the pulling and the pushing, because it's really a blues song. But once again, if you look at a scale, a minor scale, right, or the Dorian scale, all I did was, so I just took out the sixth. I just decided not to show you guys. The bass line, of course, is hitting on that. During the intro section, we're hitting on the Dorian mode as we climb down from the riff. But once the song starts, the chorus comes in, I'm using a minor sixth chord there. So again, as I said before, I'm holding back a note, and then when I need it most, I bring it out to the audience. So suddenly they hear, oh, minor sixth. Now it's defined. And it sort of allows me to kind of stretch things out a little bit. And as something that I heard from electric players, late 60s, they had a way, probably Clapton might be a really good example of somebody who, instead of, let's say, somebody like Beck or Hendrix or Page, where they seem to be throwing a lot at you in a given improvisation, and they're willing to go right to the edge of their equipment, their technique, whatever, just give you everything in the moment. I noticed Clapton would kind of, on a scale of 1 to 10, he'd sit at 8. But he'd maintain 8 for a very long time. And I thought that was so interesting, just in terms of a song. In other words, he's holding back. He's saying, I could go right here with the other guys, but I'm going to take one step back, and I'm just going to kind of play it cool, so that I can sustain the interest in this particular song for as long as I can for the jam. And that's, I guess, what I was thinking with this particular piece. There is that, you know, the freak out guitar solo in the middle where I'm playing kind of out of time, and then I bring it right into the chorus. I mentioned this yesterday about the difficulty of when you have a guitar solo that traditionally is supposed to be loud, the loudest thing, let's say, in a rock song, and then you have to go back to some other part. And so that other guitar part, which is the melody, in my case, is going to sound a little funny if it's lower. So sometimes I'll write a song and I'll think, well, maybe I can make it part of the solo, which is what I did there. I ran that whole solo section, and then I let the solo guitar continue playing the melody, and then descend into the riff before going back to the verse. Just a little writing device that can kind of help sometimes. The next song I'm going to play was just the opposite, and we did run into these problems with songs where we had this typical solo section where the guitar was going to build and build and go crazy, but then somehow you got to get back into the verse and keep the mood going. It's got a lot of wah-wah in it, and I think this should come out just about right.